Hello, my name is Alyssa Morez. I wanted to discuss the recent findings I encountered during my writing of the individual paper assignment. Since it's football season, I found it appropriate to discuss the ever-growing issue of concussions and the long-term effects it has on former athletes, more specifically former NFL players. The name of my paper is Concussions, Are We Handling Them the Right Way? What is a concussion? The concussion is a type of traumatic brain injury that is caused by a blow to the head or to the body, a fall, or another injury that jars or shakes the brain inside the skull. I have decided to focus on the concussion and its effects on the sports world. With several recent reports of memory loss, mood disorders, and motor symptoms among former NFL players exposed to repetitive traumatic brain injury, there is a question as if these injuries are causing these athletes their lives and livelihoods. Concussion research, especially in football, has become the centerfold of concussion-based research. With many deaths, suicides, and acts of depression, old and some recent football players have filled their news outlets with such stories. People who are diagnosed with concussions will generally recover quickly. However, some cases can last for days or even weeks at a time. I decided to take a look into these football players who had received multiple concussions and if there was any link between that and depression, suicide, and onsets of Alzheimer's disease. Just like with any research, there are always strong findings compared to those of weaker research. Highest quality research I found was in the study neuroinflammation and brain atrophy in former NFL players. As in vivo multimodal imaging pilot study from the Neurobiology of Disease Volume 4 in 2015, it looked at all aspects of what concussions and head trauma were doing to the brain. Looking more in depth with what CTE is and how it has affected numerous football players in recent history. Through numerous tests, PET scans, MRIs, plasma sampling, and other tests, they tested 11 former NFL players that were 55 and older. This slide shows the difference between a healthy brain of someone at the age of 66 and the brain of a former NFL player at 66. The difference is clear in how the brain has become inflamed and damaged in certain areas for an NFL player. The weakest research I came across, although still a good research topic, was not as in-depth or of great use pertaining to what it should have been. The influence of musculoskeletal injury on cognition, implications for concussion research from the American Journal of Sports Medicine, pertains to the neuropsychological testing recommend to measure concussion-related cognitive impairments. 72 intercollegiate athletes completed preseason baseline cognitive testing and follow-up assessments using the automated neuropsychological assessment metric test. This tested athletes within 72 hours who had received a concussion to those who had no injury and those with musculoskeletal injuries. Comparisons of the two are as follows. The summary for Study A on the left was to mentally examine former NFL players to find the linkage between CTE and other sports-related injuries and if there were any ties between that and depression and suicide. Study B on the right was to display the function of neuropsychological testing that is recommended to measure concussion-related cognitive impairments through computer testing, not medical testing. The comparisons of the study design were much different. Study A used clinical assessment, DNA extraction, and plasma sampling, and also PET scans, MRIs, among others. Study B was a case control study that used baseline computerized testing for athletes that had just received a concussion. Study A found multiple damages to certain parts of the brain that have linkage to depression, where study B found that concussions produce cognitive impairments in the recovery period. And these are my sources and citation, and thank you for watching and looking forward to hearing everyone's.